Welcome to another Gauging Gadgets Garmin comparison video. In this video, we have the Garmin Forerunner 265 on the left right here, and then the Garmin Forerunner 255 on the right. So in this video, we're going to do a comparison not only with the build and the design of these two watches, we'll also get into any differences in the software and features that they have so that you can make the right buying decision for you in order to figure out if you want the Garmin Forerunner 265 or the Garmin Forerunner 255. And if this video helps you, please consider giving it a like and also subscribing to my channel because that really helps me out. So right off the bat, the biggest difference here is going to be the display. Both of these watches have a 1.3-inch display, but the difference is going to be in the type of display. So the Forerunner 265 has an AMOLED display, and as you can see, the color there and everything like that is much better on the Forerunner 265. And that new display, while beautiful, does come at a small cost to your battery life. The Forerunner 265 only has 13 days of smartwatch battery life, where the Forerunner 255 has 14 days. So in the past, this used to be a major difference with the battery life, but it seems like they got the software more efficient so that you still get really good battery life, even out of an AMOLED display like this, with that really nice look and everything. Another huge difference is going to be that this has a touchscreen, so I can swipe up and down and see different aspects of the watch, not only using the 5 buttons, but I can also touch. So if that's something you're into, maybe you're coming from an Apple Watch or something, you do have that option on here. And the touchscreen can also be disabled if you're more used to the 5 buttons. Now, when it comes to the look and the design of these watches, like I said, both have a 1.3-inch display. Both of these are considered 46mm watches, with the 265 being just a 0.5 millimeter bigger than the 255. Now, the width is going to be exactly the same, and the 255 here is just a little bit heavier at 49 grams compared to 47 grams for the 265. So that would be another advantage of the 265. If you're doing a lot of really long running, you do save a little bit of weight there as well. Now, the buttons on the watch are going to be very similar. As you can see, they're both round and they're both metal, but with the 265, the start or stop button up here, which starts your activities, is actually going to be kind of a more horizontal, almost like a pill shape, and it has engraved run on it. Looks really cool, where the 265 is just going to be a circular button as well. So it's just a small design difference there. Both of these watches have the same glass, which is Corningware Gorilla Glass Class 3. I've never actually had the glass on any of my Garmin watches shatter. You might get a scratch if you hit something very sharp, but they're pretty resistant. The bezel here gives you a very slight amount of protection, and the bezel on both of these is going to be made out of a carbon fiber, so it should be very strong as well. As you can see on the Garmin Forerunner 255, you get a nice yellow ring, and this accent color changes with each different color of the watch, but you don't get that on the Garmin Forerunner 265. Now, when looking at the back of the watch, you can see that the sensors are basically the same there, and the charging connectors are going to be the same as well. The bands on both of these are going to be Quick Connect 22mm, so you can swap them out with other watch bands of the same size. They don't have to be Garmin branded. But you do get some difference here with the 265, where it kind of has a band that is a 2-piece band, where it has this nice accent color, and on the bottom of it, it says run as well. Just kind of looks cool. You do not get that on the Garmin Forerunner 255. Both of these watches come with very high quality silicone bands that have metal buckles, so they'll be very high quality, and I've never actually had to replace one because it was damaged or any reason like that. Now, another difference between these two watches is that the Garmin Forerunner 265 here on the left has 8 gigabytes of memory and history storage inside the watch. So if you're not syncing it very much with your phone or your computer, you can store 8 gigabytes of memory for your activities, things like that, step count on the watch, where you only get 4 gigabytes on the Garmin Forerunner 265. Now, I don't really think that that's a really big deal because most likely you'll just be syncing with your phone, but it is a difference, so it's something to keep in mind. So another big issue I think that concerns the display here is the type of display. So the Forerunner 255 has a type of display that is sun visible. So if I turn off the backlight, you can still see it, and it doesn't matter if you're in direct sunlight or anything like that, you'll be able to see the display, which means this is always on and always visible no matter what. And at night, you just need the backlight to be able to see it. But with the 265 here, they do have an always on mode, as you can see, where it just kind of dims the background. But in the daytime, you may have issues seeing that display because it is not reflective like the Forerunner 255. So that's not a huge difference, and this always on mode does seem to work pretty well, but that will take some battery life. But another aspect of this that I think is important is with the third-party watch faces you can download from the Garmin Connect IQ store. So the built-in watch faces will look great, and when you turn off the display, They'll also look great as well, where some of the colors go away and stuff, but you can still see the data. But if you download some third-party watch faces, some of that data, they may not work the same way or work very well because they're not created by Garmin. So you may be limited in the watch faces that you can actually install and use on this watch compared to the Garmin Forerunner 255, where basically all of the watch faces will work great with this watch. So it's just something to keep in mind until you get a bigger inventory of watch faces actually built for the Forerunner 265, you will be somewhat limited. Now, another really cool feature that is new on the Garmin Forerunner 265 and not available on the Forerunner 255 is going to be something called Hotkeys. So basically you can set up a combination of buttons or just a single button that you hold down that will automatically turn on or access a feature on the watch. So I like to do start and down here, where it'll actually turn on the flashlight of the watch. So if I go to flashlight here, set that up, and then I go back to the watch face. All I need to do to access my flashlight, maybe if I'm walking around in the dark, camping, something like that, is hold down the back and the start button, and then it will enable the flashlight where I can turn up the flashlight to as bright as I want it to be, and I'll actually be able to see at night. The Forerunner 255 is lacking that option, so the only way to access the features is by going through the different menus. You can access them a little bit quicker through the control menu, but for something like a flashlight, it's a lot easier to access that with hotkeys. So I'm really glad they brought that over to the 265. So those were some of the big differences between the Garmin Forerunner 265 and the Garmin Forerunner 255. Really everything else is basically the same. The features are the same. You get Garmin Pay, Garmin Assistance, Incident Detection. You get the same exact activities that are available, including hike. I get a lot of questions about that. You also have the ability to store music on these watches or control the music or audio on your phone. You can receive and view text messages and other notifications from your phone. And even with an Android phone, you can send text messages from your watch. So really cool there. So hopefully this comparison gave you a good idea of the differences between the Garmin Forerunner 265 and the Garmin Forerunner 255. If you have any questions about the Garmin Forerunner 255 or the Garmin Forerunner 265, leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm going to add Amazon affiliate links to the description below so you can find these exact watches on Amazon. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel, Gauging Gadgets, for more gadget reviews and tech tutorials. Thank you so much for watching.